Welcome back to CultureCast, episode 21. Last episode was November 1st, or dropped November 1st, recorded on the 31st, Halloween. So since then, in-season tournament, we covered the James Harden news. Tomorrow is going to be the deadline for teams to use that final 14th roster spot, which is what I wanted to open with because the Warriors made their decision. And Dom and I kind of talked extensively here about potential roster spots for the Warriors, one of which being Rudy Gay potentially. There were talks about Harry Giles III working out with the Warriors. That didn't come to fruition. Rodney Magruder was on this team for a little bit. We saw Javen Johnson and what's his name, Kendrick Davis, and a few other pieces or players, kind of playing with the team and stuff. I think a few went down to the G League, but the Warriors utilized that final roster spot here for Gui Santos, who we've also talked extensively about in the summer league. Gui Santos drafted last year. I forgot what year he was drafted. It feels like it's been forever, but this dude, super skilled and talented, great forward. I think he's 6'8", 6'9", kind of big fella. He's not skinny, very, lanky, 7-foot wingspan, I'm pretty sure. Brazilian. The dude's just really good. Great playmaker, good in transition, pretty good handle on the ball. Could shoot, at least in the summer league. His jump shot was looking crisp. Great finisher at the rim. Hard worker, hustle guy. So he signed a 3-year deal here with the Warriors, and I imagine he'll be up within the week, just getting, another body on this Warriors team that at this point right now kind of desperately needs a surge of offense because, Wiggins, slow start. Steph can't do all the heavy lifting. Clay's coming along. Chris Paul had a fantastic game today scoring, which was needed. Otherwise, they would have lost. Moses has kind of died down a bit. Kuminga's taken a step, but they kind of need that offensive punch, and a dude like Gui Santos can really help out. So that happened. Moving on from there, it's just kind of like the opener. We pretty much just have the Thunder games and the Warriors games to cover here from the last time we talked. The league's been pretty quiet. We will get into at the end the in-season tournament and our thoughts on it so far. But to start, we've got the Thunder game, November 1st, New Orleans Pelicans versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. Thunder unfortunately losing this one. Home game, losing 110 to 106. You want to take the reins here, and we could do box scores, but first we could start with your recap on the game. I wasn't able to watch this one, so.
Yeah, well, they 100% on the team. They blew it 100%. Nothing to blame but themselves. They had it going in the first quarter, had the foot on the gas. They outscored them, I believe, by 19. I'll check on that to recap it, but I'm very sure.
Yeah, 19.
Yeah, they were very much ahead in the first quarter. Second quarter took their foot off the gas. Third quarter took their foot off the gas, and they tried to catch up in the fourth, but it wasn't enough. SJ almost hit a really big three at the end there, almost rattled out. Happens. It's going to make sense. That can't always hit the big shot like he does, but yeah, they 100% blew this themselves. No one to blame. Zion, horrible game when he was defended by Chet. Not a very good scoring night for Zion, who was very uber efficient, as we all know.
Yeah.
Crazy efficient, but he had a very rough game. But also Chet had a rough game from three, but aside from that, played very solid once again. Can't complain. Yeah. He's doing his thing. Jalen Williams, solid game. Efficiency's a little in the gutter. SJ had a very rough game.
He's kind of died down a bit for the first game or two of the season.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Did he come? I know before we started recording, they just played their game against the Hawks.
They won. SJ had a pretty good game. He had a pretty good game today. He looked a lot better than he has. As of recent, he sat out obviously the in-season game. But yeah, no, he looked a lot better today. So that's good to see. Like, and Giddey had a rough game. It was just an all-around rough game for most of the starters. Not a very pretty game. The only thing I can take away and be happy about is seeing Lu Dort shoot 3 for 6 from three. Always great to see Lu Dort shoot very efficiently from the three. It's nice to see that, obviously, for someone with his skill set and what he brings to a team. But aside from that, Chet, J-Dub and Lou Dort, probably the bright spots of this team, as well as Aaron Wiggins too. Very solid game from him. He's always good when he gets the minutes. I wish I could see more minutes from him. He puts a lot of effort in, and he always is a plus on the plus minus. Just something I always notice. He's a very great player, and he fits in almost every lineup they have. But aside from that, I'll get to the box score. You have Chet with shooting 8 for 14, 19 points. Turnovers were bad, 5 turnovers, 2 blocks, 1 steal, 3 assists, 11 rebounds. Jalen Williams, 18 points, 3 assists, 8 rebounds. SGA, 20, 23 steals, 8 assists, 5 rebounds. Josh Giddey, 15 points, 1 steal, 4 assists, 9 rebounds. And Lou Dort with 9, 1 steal, and 2 rebounds. And another thing I did see was the turnovers were not very pretty. Where were they? No, not horrible, but 15. Not great, not horrible though. Definitely a lot worse. But from what I felt is they turned the ball over at the wrong times, and
Yeah, costly
Pelicans took
ones.
advantage of it. I mean, Pelicans, they play a tough game. They're very good. I know they just lost to the Nuggets a few minutes ago, but as of right now, they look very solid.
They got a nice defensive squad. They're big, they're
Yeah,
long. They've got
a
guys
shame.
all over the roster. Yeah.
Shame with CJ though with the collapsed lung,
Yeah,
but
he'll be out because he played a great game against you guys
he
here.
he did. He had a very good game, and yeah, it's tough to see someone like that who starting to look like he fits on this roster. And I believe they're still without Ingram. Um,
And this one, yeah, I think he's back.
he's back
Is
now?
he?
Okay.
Is he?
I don't know. I just know he was out this game, and I think he was out like
Hmm.
another game too. I
Yeah, he had a
I
knee
never know
thing.
with that guy. I feel like that guy is always
Yeah.
in, but when he plays, he's obviously
Yeah,
great.
he's one of the best forwards in the league when he plays, probably
It's just,
top six.
it's
So
just when he plays. I don't
yeah,
know.
it's
And
the Pelicans conundrum. It's every year. It's
every
when
year.
they're healthy.
Yeah,
Because
they're probably a
again
top
we
five team
saw
when they're
last
healthy.
year,
Yeah,
yeah, like
yeah, they're
they
a
could be
top five
so
team.
good.
They have so much depth and they have so many assets to go on from too. But you
And
want me
what's
to
up
go
with
into
EJ
the
Liddell? EJ Liddell just keeps not playing. He's healthy. I know he came back. We saw him in summer league. We saw him in
yeah,
preseason. I don't know why he's not playing. He was their top pick a year ago or the year before.
yeah, they would have
I know he
been.
missed a year with a torn ACL or something like that in summer league.
Oh
Um,
man, I
I
think
think it
that
was last season.
would have been. I thought it was Daniels last season or no? Am I crazy?
Daniels was the year before, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure, or maybe
Okay.
the year before that. EJ Liddell. Um, oh, he was picked round 2 of last year.
No, but yeah, I
Um,
don't know. I don't know. They're not fond of him, I guess. I mean,
I thought he was their top pick. Oops.
no, he was solid though. But I have noticed Dyson's been doing really well when he's gotten the minutes. This game he obviously wasn't great, but he's been solid in
Yeah.
a few other games I've seen.
He
Uh,
almost has the Marcus Smart thing where it's like whatever you get offensively, you get, but the
Thank you,
defense
but
is
yeah, the
really,
defense
really
is
good.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, very much so. Hawkins, I know he's had a rough start so far. I think he'll get it going. He's a shooter. He has to adjust to the NBA.
Well, he
3 point
has to, I mean, they're making him make up for Brandon Ingram's presence too.
exactly.
It's like that's a tough ask for a
It's
sharpshooter.
very tough
So
out for a rookie. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. No, the Pelicans, they got a squad over there. I hope to see them in the playoffs this year. I hope we can
Yeah.
get more out of them. They're a very interesting squad. Like you said, when healthy, who knows how good they are. Sky's the limit. But question is when they're healthy.
Yeah.
But moving on to do you want me to go into the Hawks the game today?
We could do the Warriors Thunder one. We'll knock out the Thunder ones first, then the Warriors, but it's a twofer because Warriors Thunder, so
Fair enough.
it's at once. But yeah, we could both recap this one because obviously it's being a Warrior game. I 100% watched it, so you can
Yeah.
open here and give me your thoughts on the game.
Yeah. So I mean, I think the young team came to play. They went against a team that looking really good. I mean, they're probably one of the best teams in the West. I think maybe just the Nuggets are ahead of them, maybe in the power rankings. I think they're neck and neck with each other, but like you said, offense has been a little hard to come by, but not this game. This game was
Yeah, they
full
came
of
alive
offense.
here.
This was a very offensive game from both sides. I'm not too mad at the Thunder. You know, I can't even hate on them. They're a young team. They came to play. The starting lineup did their job. They no issue with that. Like you said, Giddy kind of had a rough start. He had not a rough game, but he definitely wasn't normal giddy, I would say. He's a little bit turnover prone. He's
Yeah.
not playing like himself, I would say. But this team, they came to play without SGA, and they gave him competition. I'll say that. They put up a fight. Answered a
Yeah.
lot of questions for me when SGA is gone. Obviously Lou Dort had a really, really good game, like a stupidly good game that
Uh,
that doesn't make sense,
it's
but
always someone. Today was Killian Hayes, one of the worst players in the league. This dude shoots like 7 of 8 from the field. It's like, go fuck yourself, bro.
the random
It's
role player against
just Steph
Warriors,
Curry.
man.
Leave me alone. Yeah.
The random role player, man. They always come alive. But no, I mean, yeah, Jalen Williams did well. Chet obviously had a pretty solid. He had a pretty good
He
game. He
was
had a very good game.
spectacular. That
Very
dude.
good game. Lou Dort, great game. Casey Wallace for what he was, the minutes he was
Oh,
given in
he
the
did
start.
great.
He did
Yeah.
great for his first start. So I mean, shout out to him. The bench definitely could have been a little bit better, but Isaiah Joe, who I'm very fond of, always
Had
have
a
been.
big time and 1 3 there in the
Yeah,
fourth quarter, like early in the fourth. Big time
yeah,
shot. Micic
definitely.
had a couple nice moments.
Yeah,
And
no,
you everyone on that roster played well. Even the 5 minutes of Usman Dang weren't
yeah,
that bad.
yeah,
Like
no,
he had
definitely.
a pretty big three that again, like you guys were able to maintain and grab momentum whenever you wanted.
Yeah,
And like the one thing I want to highlight from this is you'd think like with just how insane this Thunder team played, 60% shooting from the field,
yeah,
52% from three, 80% from the free throw line. That is insane
I
in an
know
NBA game.
it is.
Insane. The Warriors, you'd think, okay, the Thunder easily won this game. The Warriors shot 54% from the field, 45% from three, and 83% from the line.
Yeah,
That's like a spectacular offensive game. And the Thunder, I mean, it
I
was just, again, it was like watching Lou Dort just hit, once Lou Dort hit that little like push off, fade away, bank shot on Kevon Looney. I was like, this dude is a fuck this guy. Like, that was just another level of a heater. It's like, okay, when dudes are making that kind of shit, it's
yeah,
over.
it's their night, but
You guys played a great game though. Like
yeah,
every time you needed a bucket, someone came up and,
someone-
and made sure
yeah.
of getting one. So
But there's definitely a
yeah.
few things. You guys definitely were a lot better keeping the ball. Definitely safer with it.
Yeah,
Forced
after the
it.
first quarter, we had like
Yeah,
seven first quarter turnovers and then
yeah.
it just completely shut down. So
You guys tightened it up, but
yeah.
oh, for sure. Definitely, yeah. You guys had a really good game too. I mean, I think you guys beat us in the rebounding category. Um, I know the assist for sure. I know that. But yeah, like you
38
said,
going
it
into
was just a
36.
great game from both sides. Steph got hot. Dort
Yeah.
got hot. There was a lot of just it was interesting. It was a very, very fun game, obviously. Probably one of the best games of the year so far,
Yeah.
I would think. I mean,
I think the number one catalyst here for this win for the Warriors, and frankly, so far to start the season, is Draymond's been a scorer.
yeah, he's been
Draymond,
really good.
15 points in this game. He
Yeah,
has the three looks good. He's shooting like 86 or 7% from the free throw line,
yeah.
which is, I mean, he's never been a bad free throw shooter. I think
No.
he's like always been like mid 70s, which for Draymond, who has the offensive bag at this point of like your, drunken uncle, you know what I mean? Like he doesn't shoot poorly from the free throw line, but he's been having himself a fucking season.
So far,
And
definitely.
it's made up. I mean, Wiggins had his best game of the season offensively here.
Yeah.
Clay looked fantastic. Dario was a sniper. Kaminga had 19. Chris Paul only had 1 point, but then matched that with 13 assists and the highest plus minus on the team. Like,
Yeah. No, I mean,
everyone
yeah.
came to play. There wasn't a single guy on either roster that really struggled.
Yeah.
It was just full on great basketball, both sides, shot for shot. So
Yeah.
yeah, fun game, and kind of encapsulates the in-season tournament so far.
Yeah, it was I mean, to me it's been a success. I'll say that.
Yeah,
I think this is definitely the best game of the in-season tournament so far though.
yeah, this was great. I know
Yeah.
that everybody wants to talk about the controversial ending. We
Yes.
kind of talked about a little bit about it. It's honest, like I didn't read the exact rule book, so fucking sue me. But my hot take or my just opinion on it is it's like PEMDAS. It's an order of operations thing.
Yeah.
Giddy's hand touched the net before Draymond hit the rim, and that's how they called it. Had it been the other way around, no basket, but it was the way it was. Thunder fans, obviously, you don't want to lose. And if I were a Thunder fan, I'd be like, no, fuck that shit. But, you know,
Yeah,
here we are. But
yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, that's sometimes that's just how it goes. I mean, yeah, I can't really say that's the only reason why they lost. I mean, that's definitely not. I think they had a very good game. You do wish that doesn't happen, obviously, but sometimes this is how basketball goes.
yeah, it was just one of those things where someone needs to get that one stop. And
Exactly.
that's right now because the Warriors have the experience. They were able to get that one stop. I think it was on Jalen Williams who dribbled it off of his leg and
Yeah.
boom, transition. And that I think that was the one, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, um, this was just a fantastic game. I this wasn't one where it was like one team was clearly better than the other. The
Yeah.
Thunder were like, the Thunder played fantastic, but they had to play fantastic because you're missing about 30 points on the bench right there,
Yeah.
like your main offensive piece. So everyone had to step up and everybody answered the bell. Chet with 24, Jalen Williams with 18, Lou Dort obviously going for 30, Giddy with nearly 20. Like everyone showed up. Isaiah Joe was hitting big time shots, like just production all around for you guys. So it was a great game. I as a Warriors fan, it's fucking annoying that every team has to play like Jesus Christ himself against us. Like nobody wants to just like, hey, can you guys just relax for once? And then the fucking, I haven't played in 3 games, motherfucker comes in and goes 9 for 8 or 9 for 10. It's like, oh, okay. Sick, man. But no, this was a great game. I heart attack game. I'll say that.
Very much fair. That's very fair statement. It was very much so a heart attack game, but like you said, a very fun game.
Yeah.
Definitely very fun.
So moving on from the Warriors Thunder matchup, we do have the game that happened just an hour or so ago, or finished just an hour or so ago. Uh, Hawks in OKC.
Yeah, yeah.
In OKC.
Mhm.
Thunder winning this one 126 to 117. Uh, as I checked again earlier, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander missed that Warriors game, but he was back for this one
Mhm.
and seemingly went off.
Had a
What were
good
your
game.
thoughts on this game? I wasn't able to catch it. Warriors were playing
I
the
didn't get to watch
majority
the
of it.
whole thing. For the parts I did watch, I will say this: the Hawks played a very sloppy game, and I kind of think they Thunder didn't fully take advantage of that. And I know they got the win only by 9, but they had a really bad game. I mean, as you see from the starters, not pretty at whatsoever efficiency wise.
Worst efficiency game for Chet that I've seen this season. 4 of
Yeah,
14.
very sloppy from that side. Not from the Thunder. I meant more so the Hawks that they had a
Oh, well, them too. Yeah, Trey, 7 turnovers, 5 of
horrible
18 from the field. Yeah.
bad game for the Hawks. That's what I was saying. That I
Okay.
wish Thunder would have taken better advantage of that. But yeah, Chet, yeah, he did. He didn't have the greatest game today. Thank God SJ was back. Giddy, he's kind of having a weird start to the beginning of this year. He's kind of had games where it's kind of scaring me a little bit with the efficiency, but he usually gets it together in the few months. Last year he kind of started off slow, got it together mid-year, gets it together, but as of right now, he's kind of scaring me. But aside from that, solid game. They got the win. They needed a win. I think this is the first win at home, which, if I'm not mistaken, that's kind of not a good way to start the season. But no, they
2 and 3, I think it says.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think yeah. But yeah, no, definitely a very different game. Glad they won, but yeah, this isn't a pretty game. I will say that from the obviously not from both sides. Obviously, the Hawks had an atrocious game. Trey Young
Yeah.
having a 5 for 18, 7 turnover games, never a good thing. But as of right now, he's had a very slow start himself. So we'll see how the Hawks do. They're 4-3, luckily. They're not bad, but yeah, they're having a horrible start as of right now. Looking at the field goals, 38 for 102. I mean, it doesn't get that much worse than that, man. I mean, that's pretty bad. Um,
Yeah. Was AJ Griffin hurt? Why was he not playing?
I think he is. I think he is hurt. That's why.
Okay.
Right now it says coach's decision, so he's not.
Yeah.
Never
I don't know
mind.
why he wouldn't play, but Garrison Matthews got minutes. See,
Yeah.
this is what's so annoying about teams. It's like, bro, we're not even 10 games into the season, and Atlanta's trying to run out like essentially an 8-man roster, not even 10 games into the
Yeah.
season, and you think you've got your roster fucking whittled down. That's just insane to me.
I'm surprised I haven't played Muhammad Gay. He's
They got
someone
him, Patty
I didn't
Mills,
yeah, I mean,
Bruno Fernando is not a bad power forward. Like he's a solid backup.
yeah.
AJ Griffin had
Onyeka
a
Kong,
fantastic season. Yeah.
he's out, I believe, though. Onyeka Kongu.
No, he played
He did. Oh, he did. What the heck?
25. Yeah.
Cheat out. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
It's,
I think they got to just move on from this Clint Capella heavy,
his contract's awful.
heavy pick and roll basketball because yeah, I'm not a big Clint guy anymore.
Yeah.
Jalen Johnson though, he for what he is, he's really interesting.
He
I
got
don't
drafted this year, right? Or was that last year?
last year from
Last
Duke,
year. Okay.
last year out of Duke. He really reminds me of like a Gerald Wallace, like on the Bobcats. He's a really
Hmm.
weird player. He's very solid defensively, super athletic, crazy athletic, gets a lot of rebounds, and he plays some pretty nasty defense. He's interesting,
Yeah.
but
Small forward with 12 boards, 6 offensive boards, man.
yeah,
Giving
they got to move
playing. Yeah.
on from DeAndre Hunter though, man. He's just never got it together since that injury he's had. I
Yeah,
mean,
he had like one like half season where it was like, okay, Cam Reddish no longer need him, and
yeah,
since then, DeAndre Hunter has not been him.
he's
So
pretty much the same thing. Yeah, not very good
yeah,
himself. And I mean, DeJounte obviously an odd fit, and we knew this from the start.
yeah,
They just have a really weird team, and I don't know. They gotta fix it up. They gotta get something going here because sooner than later, Trey's gonna want out, and then I don't know. Maybe that's what they need. Maybe they need a hard reset, even though they just reset 5 years ago. So I mean,
yeah.
it's weird to say. I don't know. They're in a weird situation. I would hate to see them restart this, but
It's
definitely, I
just
think they need better personnel.
we've talked about it before. Like I don't want to sound redundant, but it's just like I think it needs to be said because you see what happens with teams that do this in the playoffs. Like the
That
proof is
doesn't
in the
work.
pudding.
Yeah,
Strict pick and roll basketball is not a winning
that's what works.
formula.
Yeah,
10, 15 years ago, that was the only way. That and heavy ISO, low
yeah,
block post stuff, like that was how you won. Not anymore. If you're just going to run strict pick and roll, once you play a just semi good defensive team that can tighten up and the whistles go away,
yeah.
guys like Trey Young, now everything you get is going to be extremely difficult.
Very much
And
so.
it's, we sit here saying DeAndre Hunter is bad. Like DeAndre Hunter, like when you're relegated to, sitting in the
In the
corner,
corner. Yeah,
yeah, it's like
yeah.
how it's hard to have a rhythm,
You're
you
not
know.
wrong. I hate to look at it that way, but that's probably how it is. I mean,
Again, you like if DeJounte Murray is sitting in the corner, it's like, why do you have him?
why trade for him?
He's
Yeah,
he's a primary ball handler. It
yeah, and
doesn't
he's a
work.
very great playmaker himself.
Yeah,
Like I said, they make a lot of mind-boggling moves to me.
I think you gotta like it just it doesn't
Right.
make sense, and
Yeah,
it's not worth it to sit here and for like the third time semi blow up the roster for Trey Young. It's like, okay, he's too ultra specific or too hyper specific a player to build
yeah,
around. Like just restart because you're not getting anywhere in the East. The Magic are here. Who else
yeah.
is coming up? The
Pacers.
Pistons are a year or two away. The Pacers look really good.
Yeah,
Um, like the
I like the
young
Pacers more than I like
teams.
the Hawks.
Oh, easily,
Yeah,
easily. The Pacers have a lot of depth,
yeah.
just all over the place, and we haven't even seen Benedict Mathurin really take off yet, like
I
he did
think
to start last season.
they're knocking on the door for sure. But yeah, like you said, Magic. I think they're here pretty much almost.
Yeah, the Hawks are kind
Hawks
of in
are
like a
they might
bowl
be the odd man out.
situation.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're interesting. I don't know. I wonder. That's probably going to be more a developing story as the season goes on. But as of right now, very poor start from Trey Young. Horrible start. I mean, him and Julius Randle are some of the worst starts I've seen in a while
yeah. What
so
is
far.
Randall shooting like 20 something percent from the
27%.
field?
Yeah,
Ugh.
rough
And
starts.
they
Yeah,
did
rough start.
they won today though. Yeah, against the
Oh,
Clippers. James Harden's
Dante
debut.
DiVincenzo
Yeah.
one. You mean?
Oh,
I,
okay. I
he had
watched the end of the third quarter, the start of the fourth quarter of that game.
he killed him, and
Um,
he had a great.
it's
He
nice to see
did it
Dante.
well. Very
You
well from
know,
Dante. I'll
Warriors
give him
fans
that.
remember Dante hitting the dagger against Damian Lillard and getting the stop on him, took his cookies and then hit the game with. Come on now. Dante's a dog, you know.
Dante, man. I mean, who doesn't want that guy
Feels
on the
good.
team?
Got the
But
whole Villanova cast over there in New York, you know. But
it's Mikel, but no, definitely.
yeah, exactly. Mikel like sitting there in Brooklyn, like, why me? You know, we could all be together.
But no, they won the game. But yeah, as a Thunder fan, I'd definitely like to see them take more advantage of this. Aside from SJ, very solid game. But yeah, and Jalen Williams, very solid game from him too. But the rest of the crew, Dort again. I don't know. He's been on one this year so far. It's really interesting, but
Yeah, we talked about it. Like, you
I
know, the reason we were saying earlier in the offseason that he could be out is just the offense was so inconsistent. But
yeah,
to start, it's even though like 2 of 5 from three, that's for Dort. That's still,
that's pretty good.
excuse me,
But
yeah, that's still good. Like,
yeah,
you know, 19 points from Lou Dort on 6 of 10 from the field.
yeah, and
We will
the
take
nine
that any
rebounds too,
day.
man.
Yeah,
The
nine
nine
rebounds, a
rebounds, the
couple
two blocks.
blocks, making
Yeah, I
some
mean,
plays, only 2 turnovers, one foul in
he
32
got a big
minutes.
stop too. He was the main catalyst on defense in that fourth quarter. Helped get a lot of stops. So I mean,
Yeah,
this is probably the Thunder's best defensive game. Not going to say the Hawks just didn't have a really bad shooting game on their own, but I will say as of right now, this is one of the more impressive games I've watched from the Thunder defensively. But yeah, I'll get into the stats on this one. It's not really too crazy on the stat sheet. Just let me get it. Where'd it go? But no, yeah, a win's a win. I'll say that. Um,
yeah, at
Chet
this point, yeah, for the Western
for the
Conference
West, you
teams,
need
like,
it.
yeah,
16, 3 blocks, 1 steals, 3 assists, 12 rebounds for Chet. Jalen Williams, 21 points, 1 block, 2 assists, 3 rebounds. SGA, 30 points, 1 steal, 6 assists, 8 rebounds. Giddy, 8 points, 4 assists, 7 rebounds. Ludort, 19 points, 2 blocks, 3 assists, 9 rebounds. Jalen Williams out of Arkansas, 6 points, 1 block, 1 steal, 2 assists, 2 rebounds. Ashiman Dang, 3 points, 2 rebounds. Isaiah Joe, 12 points, 3 assists, 3 rebounds. Aaron Wiggins, 5 points, 1 rebound. Cason Wallace, 6 points, 4 assists, and 2 rebounds. And a lot of DNPs, but most of them make sense. I believe Poku, Treyman, and someone else got demoted to Oklahoma Blue today.
oh, okay.
Might have been Lindy. No, it might have been Berton. No, I don't think it was Bertans. No. No, I don't think it was. I think it was Lindy Wall. I would have to look again, but I know those two for sure. Treyman and Poku got demoted today to
Okay.
Oklahoma Blue. But
Did you guys make any signings for the for that 14th spot, or do you already have it filled?
I think it's Phil. Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's what it is because yeah, no, I don't I just think they got demoted today because I remember seeing that and yeah, not really anything too crazy. Yeah, no, all yeah, on that front. But no, yeah, aside from that,
Still a
very
good win, you know.
yeah,
You want to get him any way you can, and
definitely.
you know, even though the Hawks have a ton of issues, it's one of those things where sometimes Trey Young's just on one,
Yeah,
and sometimes
huge
the role
day.
players just play well enough to, you
Get
know,
them away. Yeah, eke out.
exactly.
Yeah, but no,
So yeah.
definitely. I mean, yeah, not too much else to say. Glad they got a win. Like you said, the West is tough, and Thunder they're living up to it, but definitely there are some things I'd like that Pelicans game. There's a lot of stuff a lot of stuff that they're gonna need to build on through the year, and I think they're going to, but as of right now, there's still a few things I question, but I'm interested. I like the team. I like how it's built. As a playoff team, it's interesting because obviously basketball in the playoffs, half court settings are big. You can't get too many transition points. This team isn't a crazy relying on transition. So I'm not too scared. I like their half court offense. It's
Yeah.
interesting. It's a very well built team. Like you said, there's still a few things I would like to see with maybe a few more role players added to the team. Maybe moving on from the Treymans and the Pokus of the team, and bring in people who maybe can make this team more of a contender in the next year or so. So
Yeah, just you know, it's all about fleshing out the roster because the core is obviously set. I think Lou Dort
yeah,
is cementing his spot in the
he's
rotation.
he's doing that
Um,
for sure, man. I don't know. He's
yeah,
on. I'll give
and
him that.
and like we said, like there are a couple roster spots on here for young guys that are filled. Like Arkansas, Jalen Williams, that
Yeah,
spot's good. He's a good backup, kind of 4 or 5 if you need him.
yeah.
Isaiah Joe, he's your
I
spark
like.
plug off the
Yeah,
bench.
I like him. He's a
Yeah,
good, interesting
Kaysen
six
Wallace is
man.
killing it. Like
Yeah.
I think
No.
you guys have a few good locks on the bench, but just balancing it out with some good veterans. I think takes you guys from a 6 through 8 seed team to
Yeah.
getting up there and to being one of the best in the West. But I think the nice thing for the Thunder and just all the young teams in general is, like we said, even the bad teams, there's
Yeah.
just no break anymore. Like you're not
Definitely.
getting a break against anyone. So
Yeah.
every game is gonna be hard fought. So well, unless it's the Wizards, because Jesus Christ. But oh my God, dude, it is just vibes over there. But no, like the Thunder, they're getting battle tested. Like
Yeah.
these are difficult games that are, really putting them through the grinder. And look, yeah, I remember when the Warriors were going through that point where it was like, okay, I'm seeing some flashes. This is pretty sick. Like, all
Yeah.
right, Steph Curry's looked pretty cool. Yeah, I was kind of pissed about Monte, but all right, But no, I think you guys are on a perfect trajectory. And yeah, half court offense for you guys, I don't think it's going to be a fucking issue. Like you've
Yeah.
got one of the best half court players in the league in Shea.
That's
Now you've
why.
got Chet Holmgren who changes the floor dynamic or dramatically. You've got someone like Jalen Williams who's really starting to become a good ball handler. He's got counter moves. He could get to the rim. Lou Dort, if he could just play like half of what he's playing, like that's a great plus.
Yeah.
Josh Giddey, he's a good playmaker. He could get on the glass and he can make stuff happen. He's got the floater. He can get to the free throw line. Um, and you guys just play good basketball. You play the
Yeah.
right brand. You move the ball well. You're one of the best assist teams in the league.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, you're on the right path. I don't think there's anything like negative about the Thunder other than you're just young. That's
Yeah.
it. Like
I
more
agree.
experience helps. So, um, yeah, I try to watch more Thunder games here. Sometimes they conflict with the Warriors, but
Yeah.
yeah, I like the team, man. They're about to play the Warriors like 2 times in the span of like 3 or 4 days. I think next week. So we'll be seeing you guys again at Chase
Yeah.
Center. So
Definitely.
uh, I will be praying to gods I do not believe in to fucking nerf Lou Dort for just 48 hours. Just please God, give him a clunker. But no. All right.
This Kings game, man.
Yeah, we'll move on here to the
Kings
Warriors
game,
slate of
man. You
things.
guys, you guys got away with another one here with
Oh,
the
the Clay game winner.
Playman. Yeah, he had a big
Yeah.
one. His 1-3.
Yeah, no De'Aaron Fox, it's one of those things like as much as the Kings like without De'Aaron Fox for a different team, Mike Brown spent so many years with the Warriors as the assistant coach, so they just know how to play us. I think forget how the Warriors played. I think the big thing here, the last couple times the Warriors have played the Kings, is that Keegan Murray just has not gotten off,
Yeah.
and which is crazy because Keegan Murray in the playoffs, Keegan Murray last season, like there aren't many dudes in this league where it's like once the ball hits his hand, like my heart just sinks. I'm like, fuck, dude. He killed us last year.
Yeah.
Fucking
In
killed
a
us, torched us. But he's been ice cold against us to start offensively. This one 0 of 7 from three. But
Yeah.
um, I like the game overall. I think, defensively, this was probably our best game, or at least our second best. Trace Jackson Davis got to wait, no, he didn't. That was the next game. This one was who had the really good game. Oh, Dario had the really good game off the bench
Yeah.
here. Hit some big time threes. Uh, there, Wiggins played well. Steph did his thing. Not the best from three and did have 7 turnovers, which has actually kind of been a problem for Steph to start this season. He's had a few games with like 5+ turnovers. So you want to
Yeah.
get that cut down. But Clay also still trying to find consistency in the efficiency. But I think this was Clay's best defensive game. He was stellar in this one. Really good. So this wasn't a bad one. Domantas Sabonis did his thing as
Yeah.
always. Harrison Barnes apparently can shoot now, which is cool. Where was that in 2016? Davion Mitchell always likes to shoot against the Warriors. Granted, The one thing I'll say about the Warriors defense that annoys me is they're like very analytical and
Yeah,
they really play the percentages, so they'll just leave you. They're not even going to look
wide
at you.
open. Yeah,
Yeah, and it's like I don't care that it's Harrison Barnes. It's like it's 2023, dude. A wide open three, no matter how bad a player may shoot, is
yeah.
just probably going to go in. And against the Warriors, where teams for some reason just wake up like, yeah, we're gonna, yeah, you want to dance, Steph, huh? Like that's you gotta guard a little bit more. But I'm not worried. It's one of those things where anytime the Warriors, they get put to the test of can you defend at a high level, they always
Yeah.
answer the call. So it was a good game, you know, but that was about it. Also, I've only seen the Kings games with the Warriors so far, but Chris Duarte does not look good with them. Colby Jones
It-
looks far better.
yeah, there was a
Far
game
better.
where I think it was, man, what game was it? He looked okay in one game, but I mean, they're off to a pretty poor start themselves, the Kings. I know, obviously, no. I mean, they're without their best player, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, that's gonna hurt, obviously. And they were a team that kind of banked on health a lot last year, and they were one of the
Yeah, they're the healthiest team.
healthiest
Yeah.
team in the league. And I mean, they banked on that a lot. And not gonna say that's gonna be the reason they get maybe screwed over a little bit here, but it's definitely not in their favor as of right now. I mean, they got blown out by the Rockets, I believe, tonight.
Jeez.
They're 2-4. They're off to a pretty slow start. Definitely not their fault. It's interesting, but yeah, it's interesting. I think they're gonna get it going, but as of right now, there's still a few question marks. Obviously, with new acquisitions for the team, there's a lot of minute distribution they're trying to figure out. And like you said, I yeah, they Chris Duarte has been questionable, and that was kind of one of their bigger trades that they
Yeah, that
made.
was probably their biggest acquisition this
Yeah,
offseason, aside from Vezenkov, who's also kind of been
he's kind
um
of been
he's
slow.
struggled a bit. But
Yeah,
for him, like
it's a little different.
anytime a foreign dude comes over,
Yeah,
like just human side of things, like this dude's left his country for the first time to go to a completely new place,
exactly.
probably barely knows any English,
Yeah,
and he's trying
definitely.
to, play in a different league. Like he'll probably take at least a year, I think, before we see Vizenkov really like
Get it
come into
going.
his own in the NBA. But
Yeah,
yeah, I like we know the Kings when they're healthy, they're one of the most dangerous offensive teams in the league.
yeah.
Um, but
They haven't
the
shown that yet, but they will.
the
They
issue
will.
is their biggest flaw has always been the defense,
Yeah,
and they
yeah,
did not really make many upgrades to that side of the ball. So
yeah,
it's um it's kind of like, okay, well, without De'Aaron Fox, you're a worse offensive team and you're already a bad defensive team. But Fox was actually a good on-ball defender, so
yeah,
you're worse everywhere.
yeah. No,
Um,
definitely. So that's
yeah, and
that's
now
something we're
Davion's having to make up a ton of minutes at point guard, which means he can't play his best defense because now he's got to take some of the load offense. It's rough,
yeah.
anytime you have to move up the rotation a bit because of injuries, that sucks. But I didn't mean to cut you off there. Go ahead.
No, you're good. No, yeah, they're. I think they'll get it going, but as of right now, very slow start. And yeah, I don't know. It's a little too bad that De'Aaron already got hurt this early into the year, but
Yeah,
he'll be back, I believe, sooner than later. I don't think it's that long of an injury, but even then, like we said, the West is tough. You want to get him back as soon as you can. You got to start winning games. You can't fall behind.
yeah, I think it's also it's like if there was any time you'd want to see someone deal with an injury, it's
Yeah,
now as
it's
opposed
early.
to late in the
Exactly.
year. So
Yeah, definitely.
that I think is a plus for the Kings. It's like, okay, let's just get this bullshit out of the way early. So
Yeah.
um, but yeah, to move on from there, we have we covered the Thunder game. The
Yeah.
Warriors have played 7 games now.
Hmm.
Um, has it 7 games? Yeah, 5 of them have been on the road.
Yeah.
They just had a back to back today. They played the Pistons, but this one is their game on Sunday, which was against the Cavaliers in
Yeah.
Cleveland. Um, Warriors lost this one 104 to 115. It was just an absolute clunk fest for the Warriors. For one, to preface, Cleveland for the first couple games had been without Jared Allen, without
Yeah.
Darius Garland. They were winless at home. I think they had their guys back for one game before us. Um, but they were still winless at home. So Warriors come to town off of a very close game that nearly went to overtime against the Thunder. And, like we've said before, the Warriors are no spring chickens. This is an older team. So
Yeah.
you're going in against a winless team at home that's trying to, gain some momentum here. They got their health back. And the Cavs, even though they really struggled offensively, they were just bigger.
Yeah.
You know, they really leaned on that. Evan Mobley had a fantastic game, just controlling the glass, controlling the rim, not really letting the Warriors get stuff at the rim. They only had 24 points in the paint this game. The Warriors did. That's really bad. That is really bad. They did shoot 39% from three, but 36% from the field. Other thing, 20 of 30 from the free throw line. That's 67% from the free throw line. That not really good. Chris Paul just really struggled shooting. His jump shot, again, law of averages. Chris Paul has always been a good shooter.
Yeah.
He'll figure it out. He had a great game tonight, but this was a really rough one for him. Especially, because normally you see the assists there, but that second unit, which has been fucking rock solid for this team, really struggled tonight because the Cavs they shut everything down. We know Cleveland last season, number one defense in the league. So they, and they were fully healthy tonight or last night. So we got to see that defense and their acquisitions, which we talked about. We're going to really help guys like Max Strus and George Niang, just getting some 40% shooters out there to really space the floor and take some load off of Mitchell and Garland. And you saw it, Strus with 3 of 10 from three. However, still made 3 threes. Georges Niang made 2 threes. Strus was still 6 of 13 from the field, played some solid defense. He was a +4 in the game. Like Garland, 13 free throws, just really pressured our defense. One of the things for the Warriors is the last few games has been taking advantage of the offensive glass and trying to extend possessions. So you see the Warriors here with 17 boards, but what is what's the back end of that is you don't get the offensive board, you lose numbers in transition, and you're playing a team with 2 bigs. Running in transition is just hard. So the Cavs just outplayed us. The Warriors looked, old, stale, and stagnant there, but it was one of those where, hey, you got completely outplayed and only lost by 11. And you only had like 2 minutes of garbage time. So
not a bad game.
I'm not mad here. That's their first loss on the road. It's just, it wasn't a bad game. Donovan really played well. He always plays well against the Warriors, at least post Utah. He gave up against the Warriors when he was in Utah, but another one where, again, I just want to keep highlighting how well Draymond's been offensively. That's just been such a nice thing to see. You never care if Draymond does well offensively, but it's like same thing with Lou Dort. It's like, man, once you get that dude on, whole nother level of this roster. But definitely. To move on from there, Warriors Pistons today. The big meetup of James Wiseman and his former team. The storyline. No, but Warriors on a back-to-back here. You said, well, you were at work for this one, right? This was at 4. So you were at work here. This was a good game. Like we talked about. I mean, you said during the preseason, Killian Hayes always kills you guys. We know, this dude, 8 of 12 from the field, 21 points, 3 of 4 from 3. This dude had the worst field goal percentage in the league, the worst 3-point percentage in the league last season among qualified shooters. And then he comes out and fucking torches us. Amen Thompson or Asor Thompson has a fantastic game, which he's just been great in general. But man, Detroit has dudes. They've got a good squad. Soon they'll have Bogdanovich. That changes things. We know how well Duren's played. They'll have Alec Burks back, who rounds out that bench. They'll have Jaden Ivey back, who should be starting. I don't know why he doesn't start. He tweaked something. He'll be fine. I don't think it was anything crazy. but he didn't play this one, which
Fair enough.
thankful for the Warriors because if he did, we'd probably lose. I know it says 120, 109, but to the final like 5 minutes, this was neck and neck. So, um, yeah, this was a great game. Chris Paul, best game as a Warrior in this one. Same with Draymond, I would say. Even though Draymond only had 6 points, I think he just had the most complete game he's had. Just played very good basketball here. Steph came out electric in the first quarter, in the first half in general, but third quarter and early fourth quarter kind of was ice cold. I think it was like 0 for 7 or 8, but um, Clay looked really good. Dario played some great minutes. I mean, Kaminga, dude, I don't get it, man. How are you 6'8", 215, and you can't post up guards, bro? It's like watching JaVale McGee against Isaiah Thomas. This shit's embarrassing. Like every time, I've never seen Jonathan Kaminga be able to get on a post with a guard and then drive through them. It's always like he bumps in and then like has to fling something up and hope for a call. It's like, I don't know. Everyone's super high on Kaminga, and I think Kaminga's had flashes, but I don't know, dude. He just is like there's something about it that doesn't sit right with me. It's not even like a Pascal Siakam thing where
Yeah,
Pascal's just a funky player. Like you can't really compare him to anyone. He's so unique as a center. But like Kaminga should be this dominant force. And then you have some skinny fuck like Pascal Siakam who's like, bitch, and like
yeah,
trucking people and getting to the cup, the touch around the rim. I don't know. Kaminga is iffy for me. I like what he does defensively. He's aggressive. He plays hard. He really
yeah.
has a good motor on him. He tries to get on the glass. But the offense is just, um,
Question mark.
I don't know. Yeah. It's like, and Moses has just not been the same offensively since the first couple games, but still the defense has been there. The
Yeah,
rebounding's there. Like he's doing that stuff. But again, it's the same with Wiggins. It's like they all three of them just kind of look like they're kind of, lost offensively. Um, which sucks. It's like, genuinely, I sit here sometimes and I'm like, man, what if they traded Wiggins for Wiggins and I don't know, like a couple seconds for DeRozan? You know, what if they traded Wiggins and a couple in a Wiggins and Moody and a second or two for Jimmy Butler? Like
there's
bring
money.
in a
Yeah,
genuinely talented, motherfucker, balls to the wall small forward because it's like, dude, I'm sick of seeing these wishy washy players because like, I don't know about you, but when you're watching sports, you can tell when someone's got the juice or not, you know? Like it's visible.
yeah.
I don't know if there's a dude on the Thunder for you that you're like, every time he touches the ball, you kind of get like butterflies in the worst way because you're like, oh God, oh God. But then there are other guys where you're like, once the ball's in his hand, there's like a sigh of relief,
Yeah,
you
there's a
know?
few. I mean, Poku obviously was like that a few years ago for me. Um, no, there's definitely guys like that. I mean, obviously when I was younger, Kevin Durant, obviously. Uh,
Yeah.
definitely. There's been plenty of Thunder players. Paul George in 2018, I was happy. Westbrook in 16, Westbrook in 16. Not it's not that I didn't want him to have the ball, obviously. He's a great player, but there's times where it was later in games when we had Durant and it was like, all right, let's get Durant the ball, you know. But definitely no, yeah, I 100% understand what you're saying. I wish you guys would. I was a few years ago where you guys were in rumors for Paul George. You guys were in rumors for Kawhi. You guys were in rumors for all these like great small forwards. Obviously, the injuries are an issue, but I mean, think about this team with someone like that. I mean, it'd just be
Yeah.
ridiculous. Let's get some pressure taken off Steph offensively like
Yeah.
that. I mean, with Clay having somewhat of a rough fast past 2 years, and it's not his fault. He's had to come back from crazy stuff, but someone that can just take the scoring load off of Steph would be great. I mean, Steph, I don't think you'd see too many inefficient games from Steph anymore if you had someone like that next to him.
Yeah.
Obviously, a star like that. Because I mean, like you said, they're focusing a lot on him right now. He's taken the load on offensively crazy this year. Um, yeah, he's doing well, but like you said, the turnovers have been a little bit high. But last few games, obviously, this game and the Cleveland game, he's had the efficiency's gone down a little bit. And I think it's fair to say maybe he's visibly a little not tired, but maybe
He
It's
hasn't
just
missed a game. Like
yeah,
normally last season, he would have sat
exactly.
both of these back to back. So
Yeah.
he's really, this is the first time since like 2018, maybe,
Yeah.
that he's like legit, hey, I'm gonna try and play as many games as I possibly can.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just the one thing this team's missing. I mean, everyone's gonna say size, and at this point, it's like I don't even want to have to talk about this. Just so it's like when a football team loses and everyone just blames the QB. It's
Yeah.
like, bro, he's playing with like donuts offensively,
Yeah.
but it's the same thing here, except the only issue is outside of Steph, where on the roster can you get like consistent and efficient shot creation, not
Exactly.
shot making.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Clear difference between
Yeah.
shot making is Isaiah Joe, shot
I,
creating is Shea.
I mean,
You
I'm
know what
not
I
gonna lie
mean?
for you. Shot creation wise, I'd probably say it's 38-year-old Chris Paul.
Yeah, Chris
I mean,
Paul's got the mid range. We know he could we know he could take it. He hits clutch threes. Chris Paul
oh
is a
yeah.
clutch player.
Oh,
Like
he's
there's
very
no
good.
doubt about it.
Yeah.
Clay, there are moments where if he's hot enough, he
There's
can be
moments.
someone
Yeah.
that can, get in the
Exactly.
post, get in the mid range and stuff. Wiggins, it's just there's
The start's been poor, man. He's had a very poor start from what I've grown accustomed to as someone who's watched Warrior games the last few years a lot
yeah,
more. And in 2021, when he when he's there, when he got there in 2020, obviously it was a weird situation. Steph with the broken wrist. 2021, Steph's I would say he was honestly probably the second option that year, maybe.
no, he 100%
Yeah,
was.
and
His
he
pool
had
didn't
games
come
where
in till the
he was
end.
great.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then
yeah.
2022. I mean, I personally think that's his best year. I
Oh,
mean,
100%.
yeah, and then last year, obviously, with all the weird stuff going on with him, injuries and such, it's been kind of a little bit wishy-washy from him. I mean, obviously, like you said, you're not getting consistent scoring from him at all. And I mean, 2 for 9, that's bad. Coming
Yeah,
from
especially
someone,
because he's cutting the threes down. So these are like missed layups, hook shots, and
I,
he just that one of the Warriors guys broke it down too. And like every night when I fucking watch the Warriors, like there's nothing more in this fucking world with basketball that I hate when a guy who can easily dunk the ball
oh
lays it
yeah,
up.
I know,
Andrew Wiggins should be fucking yamming that shit every time, and
yeah,
he doesn't have good touch around the rim. He doesn't.
yeah,
Like and he settles for so many fuck ass layups, and it's like, bro, just dunk it. You're not a good free throw shooter.
yeah. He's
You're
not.
not.
Yeah, and I mean, he settles for a lot of mid-range
Oh,
times too. I
and
mean,
the issue is like 20 when so if you ask Warriors fans, when Wiggins came in 2020 and
yeah,
then 2021, everyone was like at first it was like, ooh, he's an inefficient scorer. He doesn't really have the mindset to really be a big time option for this team. And he was really bad defensively in his time in Minnesota.
yeah,
But when he came to the Warriors, I don't
everything
know what
flipped.
happened, but the
Yeah,
defense in particular just
it came.
boom, this
Yeah,
dude became a spectacular perimeter defender. And that was kind of what he hung his hat on. So it was like, again, guys like Lou Dort and Draymond, it's like whatever you got offensively, which, a typical Wiggins night is like, 12 to 18 points on like, meh efficiency. You don't notice that he's even playing, but like the perimeter defense was there. And
yeah,
then in the playoffs, the rebounding
obviously.
came up.
Yeah,
So,
the playoff.
those were things that he was hanging his hat on. But right now, aside from the offensive glass, which is kind of becoming a thing for him to do, the defense hasn't been very good. The
Yeah,
shooting has been non existent.
yeah,
The typical, able to get to the rim, the mid range shot, which he's pretty solid at,
yeah,
aren't there. It's just anytime he touches the ball, man, I get that pit in my stomach. Like, oh God, this dude, he just doesn't. You don't feel confident with him. I don't know.
yeah.
I don't
I
know many
mean,
Warriors fans that do.
as of right now, he's having a rough start. He's kind of looking back like the Minnesota days for him
Yeah,
as of
he
right
just
now.
looks spaced out.
He
Like
looks
he's just
poor.
not
Yeah,
really there.
playing very poorly, definitely for him. And I mean, he's shooting 20% from three and 57% from the line. I mean,
Yeah,
can't get really that much worse than that. For someone who is more of what would I say? I guess like a connecting piece, not really
yeah, good little like tertiary scorer
yeah.
slash point of attack defender.
You all you need from someone like that is efficiency, and he's not giving you that at all. And
Yeah, because out in 2022, that was what he like
oh
offensively. He shot like
yeah,
40% from three,
yeah,
best
exactly.
season of his career. So not being able to do that, plus the regular
Oh,
efficiency isn't
yeah,
there,
exactly.
and the defense.
He's leaving a hole in your offense. I'll say that. He's not.
Yeah,
He's kind of giving me those Rudy Gay Memphis vibes a little bit, man. He's not really doing what he should be doing. And
yeah,
that's it. For a team that like that needs that really consistent scoring, and they haven't found that. That's probably my biggest knock on the Warriors as of right now is the consistency in the scoring. It hasn't been there as of right now, but
yeah.
definitely as time goes on and with the roster changing now with Gui Santos, I'm not saying he's going to be that second option, obviously.
No, but he'll,
Someone you can plug and play, and there's a lot
yeah.
of options that come up. I mean, maybe Kaminga looks better in the next coming months. Maybe Moses Moody picks it up. Maybe Clay gets back to Clay Thompson. I mean,
Yeah,
not hasn't been, it's just the consistency hasn't been there. But when he does play well, he plays very well and he looks good. But there's games also when he has pretty poor games. But there's a lot of things, but I think you guys will definitely figure it out. It's too good of a roster, and you guys have a decent, not saying a crazy amount of assets, but a good amount of assets to maybe swing a trade. And
that's the other thing is it's like you're not the Thunder where you can sit here and say, you know what, we're not going to make any moves. We're just going
yeah,
to sit here and let these guys work out. It's like you're playing with Father Time,
yeah,
and
no,
he's
yeah,
undefeated.
sure.
So with where Wiggins is at right now, it's looking like, seeing kind of how, potentially Kaminga, potentially Moody, potentially Gui Santos, now that he'll be up soon. Um, they've got all the clearance to leap Andrew Wiggins. It's
Yeah,
not, the Steve Kerr is not just putting Wiggins out because he's the starter. Like Kaminga's earning those final minutes to play because the defense has been better, the rebounding's been better, and it's one of those things where it's like if Kaminga, Moody, and Gui Santos can't answer the call,
yeah,
now you're looking at a position where come the deadline, you might have to pull the trigger on something. You might have to make the move because that's kind of the hope it looks like is that Kaminga takes that next step or Moody takes that next step. It feels like if anyone will, it's going to be Kaminga, but I don't know how I feel too much about that, but that's one of those things where it's like, okay, Kaminga on the bench looks a little rugged, but Kaminga with the starters because he's not going to have nearly as much attention going his way. Maybe he looks good. I don't know, but yeah, they're in a they're winning the games, which is what you need to do
exactly.
of how the West is, but they need another shot creator because just to keep it the same way, not in a biased manner, like just like I've talked about with Trae Young and Luka, how their play styles get shut down pretty easily. Like the Warriors, if they don't have guys that can create shots, if a
Yeah,
team's able to stop their actions and counter their cuts and protect the rim well, who no one else but Steph Curry is able to really make anything happen, and he's their number one priority. So, I think at this point it's like, uh, I don't know if you want to wait till the deadline to make a decision. I feel like it's one of those things where you'll know it around Christmas time,
yeah,
like if anyone's really taking that leap or not, or if you need to start. If Mike Dunleavy needs to start looking around the league at any shooting guards slash small forwards that could replace Wiggins.
yeah.
I don't I don't really want Zach. Like everyone has been looking at potential spots for Zach LaVine. I've seen
Hmm.
people say on YouTube the Magic are a potential spot. I'm not really a fan just because the defense isn't good
Yeah,
and he's kind of inefficient. But like I said, someone like DeMar DeRozan, that dude
interesting,
is beyond clutch, great
interesting.
shot creator, and
Yeah,
he's someone who doesn't have to live at the three.
no,
He changes the game because where the Warriors live and die by the three, he gives you kind of the Chris Paul thing, but with the starters.
yeah,
Jimmy Butler, the two-way performance, uh,
interesting.
and the playoff elevator. Like there
Yeah,
are guys where I really think the Warriors can look around the league and find something because you might need it, man.
yeah,
It at the moment it's looking like the scoring is just as much as I think guys shooting percentages will come up. Um, I'm just not sold on Wiggins. I haven't been. I never really have been. The only thing that kept me sold was the defense. and
Yeah.
that's starting to fade. And with that fading and the offense already
It's
being a
not too
question
many
mark,
positives. Yeah.
yeah. So
I'm with you on that. Yeah. You got a point. I mean, we'll see. We'll see who's available around this time. I mean, as of right now,
yeah,
very early, but usually around Christmas, a little later on, there's going to be names that are going to be popping up on the trade mill.
yeah,
So definitely, I don't think, I don't know. I wouldn't say anyone on the Warriors is safe aside from the obvious.
yeah. I think the core is good, but I think
Yeah.
Wiggins is just not.
It might be
Um,
someone on the block, maybe,
yeah,
because he has a pretty nice contract that could match some other people's salaries, but we'll see.
yeah.
There's a lot of stuff coming up. I mean, obviously they said they wouldn't trade Poole. Poole got shipped the next week, so no one's safe on the Warriors aside from a few names, maybe.
I think that's thankfully, Andrew Wiggins is not the net negative that Jordan Poole is.
No, no,
I think
no.
it's
Yeah, not
just
at
like
all.
I don't know. Andrew, it's like the biggest thing that always got questioned about Wiggins was his heart. Like, does he even care about basketball? And I've always been someone that's like, that's not fair to question, but like, because you got guys like Kawhi in this league, they're just not very extroverted and outgoing personalities.
Yeah.
But like, I just don't know with Wiggins. It's just he just looks like he's so spaced out sometimes, and you know, I don't
Well,
know.
who knows what's going on behind the scenes too with all that
Yeah,
stuff that happened last year? Who knows? I mean, they
yeah.
are human beings after all. But
Exactly. In all fairness, there could be stuff going on that's just kind of keeping him from really getting to where he should be. And,
yeah,
if that's the case, then I hope he gets it figured out. But if it's just one of those things where, you know, I don't know, he's kind of, we've seen the best of Wiggins,
yeah,
then,
that's tough. Yeah,
you want to move off quicker than you wait because
yeah,
you don't want to be in a position where it's like, you waited a couple extra years and now he's worth nothing.
yeah,
You don't want to
exactly.
be like the Nets and Ben Simmons. It's like, well, now you kind of got to sell low. So,
Yeah,
um,
definitely.
but yeah, so that's kind of that's been the Warriors' start here, the last few games. Same with the Thunder, just keeping
Yeah,
up with them here. But we'll move into the final part of this podcast episode, and that being the in-season tournament and kind of our thoughts on the initial group stage round and uh we could like just briefly go over the games that did happen. We won't do the box scores. We just have the top performers and everything, but
yeah,
and kind of just our thoughts on how we feel about it. I know everybody's kind of like it's either you're looking at it like I don't understand why this has any meaning, or you're like I like this. There
yeah,
seems to be a good competition here, but um, the first game of the night here was Cleveland versus Indiana in Indiana. Uh, Pacers picking up the win here, 121 to 116. I'm pretty sure Jared Allen, check real quick. No, Jared Allen and Darius Garland were back for this, so never mind.
yeah.
Seems
First
like
one
both
back.
sides were healthy. Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
first for them. But yeah, this was a close game, very close. Donovan Mitchell, top performer here for the Cavaliers, 38 points, 9 assists. And Miles Turner, I did see a lot of stuff on Instagram, some highlights from Big Miles here.
yeah,
27 points, 9 boards. We know Miles ain't a rebounder, but got the nine
yeah,
boards. I think he had some monster blocks too. Um, it's always great to see Miles Turner playing well. Fun dude to watch. But yeah, close game there with the Cavs Pacers. I don't did you watch this game or see anything
no,
from it? No.
no. This one was. I saw a bit of the next one, the Knicks Bucks.
Knicks Bucks, okay.
I watched that one.
Um I think I watched like a couple minutes from this. I
Yeah,
think it was on TV. I could be wrong. I watched one that was on TV.
I'm looking at it. I realistically only watched some of the Knicks Bucks. I watched the Warriors Thunder and a little bit of the Mavericks Nuggets because I was interested because I think they were both undefeated going into it, or was it the
Yeah, I think they were
Mavericks?
both
Oh,
what 4-0 at that point, 4
yeah,
0
I
5
think
0.
yeah, I think the Mavericks were undefeated. Maybe the Nuggets already lost by this point. No, yeah, I think so because I know the Nuggets lost to the was it the Timberwolves they lost to?
Oh, they did. Wow.
Did they? I don't remember. I think the Nuggets had picked up their first loss to the Timberwolves. They picked up their first loss to the Timberwolves. They lost by like
Okay.
21 randomly. But
Jesus.
yeah, no, yeah, that was one of the ones I watched. Yeah, no, but the Pacers getting a win there. I mean, like we said, the Pacers off to a cool little start. Basketball's back in Indiana a little bit. It's
Yeah,
fun to see
All-Star
that.
games there, right?
Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah.
believe so. And but definitely Bruce Brown has been a pretty solid fit so far. Halliburton,
Mm.
obviously Halliburton on Sunday against the, or was it Saturday against the
Dropped like
Hornets?
40, right?
43 and they lost.
Yeah.
That's too bad. The Hornets don't look like the worst team in the league either, but
Oh,
that's
LaMelo's playing great. PJ
very
looks
good.
good.
Yeah, no, definitely. And then Buddy Hield, he's been solid. Tonight they had a pretty big game. The Pacers against the Spurs. They did pretty well.
Yeah, I saw in the group chat they sent Isaiah Jackson blocking Wemby.
That was nasty. Yeah,
Yeah,
I did see that. I didn't watch any of that game, but yeah, no,
neither did
Pacers
I.
off to a
Yeah.
cool little start for sure. And then the Cavs obviously getting back to normal.
Yeah, they'll be fine. They just needed to get healthy here
Definitely.
and start building from there. But yeah, cool first game, 5 point margin. Again, every single game here was pretty
Close.
close. So
Very close.
that's what you want to see in a tournament format.
Definitely.
Next up, like you said, Knicks Bucks.
Yeah.
Bucks taking away the win here, 110-105. I did see that Jalen Brunson absolutely went off for 45, and Julius
Yeah.
Randle shot like 2 of 10 from the field, or
Five for
really
20.
bad. 5 of 20. Yeah, just horrible for Randall, who's had probably the worst start of his career.
Start. Yeah,
um,
I don't know, man. Yeah, we'll see how that goes from here. But he is a very popular name in the trade mill. And if you saw, Julius Randle was it was very minimal, but obviously all the social media networks picked it up right away when Brunson missed the mid range when he missed the fadeaway. Then he was like, "Oh my God!" He just walked back on defense and he's pissed off. But it's like, you kind
yeah,
of have a rough game yourself, man. But I
yeah.
mean, I don't know. I'm a big fan of Brunson. I like how he plays, but
Brunson's a good little old school point guard. I like
he
it.
is definitely.
Six
But yeah,
one, mid range, everything. Lefty. Love my
yeah.
lefties.
Hey, but Damian Lillard again, man. He's having an interesting start. I know he had a rough game before this, but aside from that, he's starting to get it picked up with Giannis. Giannis has had a really weird start too. I don't know how I feel about that
Just
so
trying to
far.
incorporate Dame. Say
Yeah,
Middleton's been the most interesting one. He's averaging 8 points a game on the season. He's having a very
weird
uh
start.
yeah, just not
Not
getting the
ideal.
touches.
Yeah, but Brooks been solid too. I mean,
Yeah,
they
Brooks
this game he was amazing, but
defensive 8 blocks.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
DPOY Brook part two.
Hey, I'm interested, but Jay Crowder getting some minutes here, Beauchamp getting some minutes here. Another interesting game. Campaign getting a little bit of play. We'll see how they go. Still a very interesting team. I don't necessarily think I don't know if I like them as the favorite out of the East right now. They're a very good team, but I
Yeah,
don't
the
know.
East feels like a toss up. I don't
It
like
does. I don't think it's
I
that Boston or Bucks type thing. I think there's a
yeah.
few other sneaky teams. I think the Knicks will pick it up. They're kind of playing not poor, but Julius Randle with the atrocious start has been gross. I know
Yeah.
the Heat had been a bit of a slow start themselves. It's a little bit of a toss up in the East. They have some great teams, obviously, but
I
yeah,
think the
they're not.
Bucks roster is actually a little like worse than people think. I
Yeah,
mean,
it is. It's a little
we've
tougher.
talked about it before. Like Malik Beasley is like the human barometer. It's just like when he is not shooting well, I mean, he only got 2 shots in 22 minutes, missed
Yeah,
them, 0 points as a starter, and he's not a very good defender. He was a
yeah,
+6, but like Malik Beasley is, I don't think he's a starter. And your only real second option for starting shooting guard is Pat Connaughton, unless you want to, bump down Marjan Beauchamp and have him start. But like,
he got some minutes. Yeah,
yeah,
he's gonna get a lot more minutes than I expected for sure.
yeah, because he's actually a solid defender. He's
Yeah,
lanky. Uh, he just makes that team longer and more difficult to deal with as a
definitely.
defense. But yeah, I think Milwaukee's roster is just a little bit shallow,
Yeah, it
and
is. It's not.
it's gonna be
That's
one of those things where I feel like we're looking at, when Giannis is off the floor, when Dame's off the floor, how does this team look?
exactly.
Um,
And as of right now, like you said, it's interesting. I mean, I'm looking at it right now. The Sixers, they're off to a magical start. They're playing great without
telling
Harden.
you,
Yeah,
dude, they didn't need him.
no,
Maxey's him.
they're doing
Maxey
good.
is
Maxey's doing
nasty.
really good, man. And I mean, Embiid obviously very, very strong start. Obviously tonight with a huge big game.
48, man.
Yeah,
I think
but
he
no,
set a Sixers record for most points in a quarter.
yeah, no, they're interesting for sure. Hornets, Wizards played next. Obviously, the Wizards. We knew they
They're
would be a very questionable team.
yes. Yeah,
Uh,
Kuzma still looks like him. Jordan Poole looks not like
Interesting.
him.
Yeah, there's times where
Um,
Poole's not the. I don't want to say he's interesting at times. I don't know if I don't know. I don't know if he's definitely not the answer. I'm interested more so with Denny too. He's someone else that kind of intrigues me as someone as more of a someone who just signed an extension for a pretty
yeah,
reasonable price. That might be a trade candidate maybe later down the line.
yeah.
Obviously, they have Tyus Jones, who's been pretty solid. I mean, at times he's been solid. He's not this game. He wasn't crazy good, but he wasn't necessarily bad either. I mean,
It
it's a weird
just
roster.
they're trying to work out the kinks.
Yeah,
I'm still very intrigued with Bilal. I like what he has. I think he
yeah,
could be a very good defensive wing. That, kind of just do a little bit of everything.
yeah,
Um,
definitely.
but yeah, they're in a weird spot. I think right now they're trying to figure out if they're can they be a playoff team, or is this like just throw all the young guys in because we're going nowhere and we'll ship off guys like Gallo and
Yeah.
Tyus Jones and you know
I
and
think they're
guys like
going in
that.
that young guy direction, most likely. I
I
mean,
hope. I mean, we're seeing right now, Bilal coming off the bench. They're starting
yeah,
Tyus alongside JP.
yeah,
But we'll see. I give them at least a month or two before you can really, you know, really make an assessment there. But yeah, I think that's what they're looking for. I think the Heat right now, man, Tyler Hero is just playing incredible basketball.
very good basketball out of him right
I'm
now.
glad he's on my fantasy team.
He's doing
He's
very good.
carrying.
Definitely. Yeah, no, definitely the Heat. Like I said, they're off to a little bit of a slow start, but I mean, I think Jimmy Butler was out for what, like the first like few weeks, right?
He was. Wait, he was?
Yeah, remember he didn't play in the Minnesota game. He missed games before that.
Hmm.
I think he's back now.
Yeah, yeah, I know
Yeah, they
he's been
played. I know they
playing.
won today, but
Yeah, I guess maybe he missed some time. I didn't notice.
yeah, the Timberwolves game he didn't play, and there's a few. I think
Okay.
there's another game, a game or two. I know he didn't play, so that's something maybe. I wouldn't be really worried about the Heat.
No,
Obviously, I think no matter where they finish, they're still a very deadly team. But
Jimmy Butler in the playoffs is just another breed.
and they have those role players that just play out of their mind for some
Yeah.
reason.
What's the dude they just
Yeah,
brought on the roster? Not Highsmith.
which one?
What's his name? Um, oh, he didn't even play.
Who?
Smith, Devonte Smith, or Drew Smith. Drew Smith
Oh,
was one of their undrafted dudes, I think. He didn't play tonight, but he's someone that a lot of Heat fans are like, look out for.
yeah. They like I said, they're a weird little team. Obviously, they do it every year, but yeah,
Yep.
they're interesting. I mean, you still can't never count them out, I guess I would say. So
No.
with the slow start and all, I think they're fine. I think they'll get it together. I don't think they'll ever be that one seed again in the East, but I do think they won't be an 8 seed again. I think they'll definitely be a top 6 seed this year.
Yeah, I think Hero's playing a lot better.
A lot better than they
So
expected, I
yeah,
imagine. Because they wanted Beal. I personally think as of right now, Tyler Hero's better than Beal. But
100%. I
yeah,
think the Suns are
Tyler
kind of
they're biting the bullet, man. I'll say that they're biting the bullet as of now. But I
yeah,
mean,
we knew
what
the
happens?
health was going to be a thing,
It's
so
gonna be
it's
a question, man.
showing.
It's a
Yeah,
very big question right now. But
yeah.
yeah, but no, definitely. And then the
But the
next,
Mavs, I
oh,
mean,
that yeah, the Mavs too.
yeah, they
That
look they
they
look
look good.
they're
They look
playing better than I expected, but
yeah.
I'm
Same
still
here. Same
my
here.
opinions on that roster have not changed. I still think that roster is an
Yeah,
abomination.
it's questionable. I
I
think they won tonight too, didn't they?
it was I think they no, I
Yeah,
know
they
they
beat the
beat the
Magic.
Hornets a day
They
or
beat the
two
Magic
ago.
by 15
They did
tonight.
okay.
Dude,
Um,
they're playing a little better than I think in reality, if that makes sense.
yeah, they're definitely playing above what they are. Again, like regular season, you can't fool me. I know what Luca looks like in the regular season. I know what that team looks like, but once the defense tightens up, I don't trust them whatsoever. I think every year, anytime we see the Mavericks in a playoff series, Luca's going to continue to be Luca,
Yeah.
and then the role players are just going to absolutely fall off the face of the earth. Like
Yeah,
at
unless they're
least they'll
playing.
have Derek Lively and
Yeah.
whatever Kyrie can give you because Kyrie's been interesting. He's kind of just been chilling in the
Yeah,
background. So
he had a good game tonight, but yeah, he's been a little interesting for sure, to say the least. I mean,
yeah,
Grant Williams has been meh, nothing crazy special. Derek Jones for a rookie, I'll give him that. He's been pretty solid at games.
Lively's been killing it.
Yeah, he's been
Yeah,
really solid. He's been I think he is the main catalyst for success from this team. And if they do have
yeah,
success come playoff time, maybe it's going to be because of Lively. I personally think. I think he changes the whole dynamic of the team, but aside from him, there's still lots of question marks I have from this roster.
yeah,
Obviously, Luca and Kyrie. I'm not saying that. I'm saying aside from those guys, I'm saying the Derek Joneses, the Grant Williams, the Prosper. Well, Prosper's a rookie. I'm not going to put that on him. Tim Hardaway's, and then they finally got off Reggie Bullock, thank God. But aside from that,
yeah.
Jaden Hardy too. I'd like to see a little more from Jaden Hardy, but they have an interesting roster. I like you said, it's very more of like a makeshift roster. It's not very
It's just dudes.
not set. Yeah, it's I I don't know how I feel
Yeah,
about it, but
they.
yeah,
Yeah, it's pretty. It's literally live and die with Luca. But
yeah,
now we've
and
got a solid rim protector slash lob threat,
yeah.
and Grant Williams is shooting the best percentage of his career from three. And he's not
So
even playing unbelievable defense. Like
no,
he's being okay defensively, but the shooting's there.
yeah,
Um,
but I think leaving Boston might have hurt him defensively, which makes sense. He was in a great
yeah,
defense,
the
and
Mavs just don't have good
yeah,
perimeter defenders. So,
exactly.
you
Going
know,
to the Mavericks, you got to guard the best player every night. It's a
yeah,
little different than Boston, but
we're
like you
gonna
said,
see come the playoff time.
yeah,
It's gonna be pull Derek Lively out of the paint and
yeah,
then just own them. They
attack,
just don't
exactly.
exactly like
Attack the
it's
paint.
the same thing.
I've,
Um,
but no, I mean Nuggets obviously probably the best constructed roster in the league,
yeah,
realistically.
and
And I
like
mean,
we said, man, until they they're no longer defending champs, they're the best team.
they are.
They haven't gotten worse, they haven't gotten better, but
No.
they're
They just
still
won. So
great.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
think
I mean,
Jamal's out though. I think he'll
yeah.
be out for a game or two, but um, that's not gonna be a problem. Like no, it's like the Mavericks. You don't pay Kyrie Irving for the regular season. You pay him for what he could do for you in the postseason. Just like the Nuggets. I don't care about the record. They're gonna
Yeah.
be just fine in the playoffs. So
And even then,
um,
their
yeah,
records
they
just
play
fine. I
very
mean,
good basketball.
yeah.
It's
I think they're 7-1. So I mean they're killing it. And then that Trailblazers game, man. I mean, like you said,
yeah.
Grizzlies, man,
Grizzlies blew a
they're
lead.
another one. I mean, they're just man, this is ugly. I mean, you think a team with that was what? Were they like 16-3 a few years ago when Ja didn't play? Is that what it
Yeah,
was? And I mean, you think I personally, I'm gonna say it. I personally thought they would be a top five team again. I really did.
really. Wow.
I'm really interested to see this. I think this Marcus Smart experiment's pretty bad. It hasn't gone well for them. I think
Yeah.
getting rid of Tyus Jones is one of the worst things they could have done, and
Tyus Jones was
they're
pretty much
paying
the
for it.
reason that they
Yeah,
had that run is because Tyus is a fantastic scoring
I
guard.
mean, they're paying for it, man. And I mean,
Yeah,
the only bright spots that I've seen so far is just realistically Desmond Bane's
he's
been
played
he's,
great.
he's been living up to that contract a little bit. I'll say that he's been playing
Yeah.
very well, but they're not getting any wins. So I mean,
That
there's
was
that.
the biggest issue with the Grizzlies, and I've said this for the last 2 years. You can ask the dudes in the group chat. I said, like, before the trade deadline of last year, the Grizzlies should try and trade for Kevin Durant. And
Yeah,
everyone said I was stupid as shit and that would never happen. And then that report came out that the Grizzlies were in talks for KD.
yeah,
Why? It's the same thing with the Warriors. When Ja doesn't play, or when Ja's not playing well, or when Ja gets taken out of the equation, who is the shot creator on the team?
exactly. Yeah,
Desmond Bain can score, but he's not a great shot creator.
no,
He's
definitely not.
a spot up shooter. He has a pull up,
Yeah,
and
he's
he's okay around the.
a
He's kind
little
of like
bit.
Eric
Yeah,
Gordon around the rim,
yeah, he's
but
interesting.
he doesn't. He's not someone where it's like get out of him. He's not CJ McCollum. He's not that kind of number two.
Definitely not.
So I like Memphis is not going to be a team, in my opinion, that gets put over the edge until they have a
Yeah,
genuine secondary star
I'm
next to
with you.
Ja who can put up 15 shots a game and be an
Yeah,
all-star. I don't think that's Desmond Bain. It's for sure not Jaren Jackson.
yeah,
I think
no,
at this point people were expecting like Anthony Davis kind of leaps for Jaren Jackson Jr. Like
yeah.
we know
I
the
think
defense is there, but offensively,
realistically, it's
he's
just not the case. Yeah,
yeah,
it
he's
is
like
what it is.
a little bit of a worse version of Miles Turner, in my opinion.
I
Um,
I don't think that's crazy to say. I think at times he's a black hole. I mean, obviously this game, very solid game offensively, and he'll have flashes. I mean,
Yeah, no, for sure.
he shows flashes, like you said, where he will look like a really dominant offensive player, but then there's other games where he's just like, I don't know. I feel like maybe let's get 8 points out of him. Poor efficiency. I mean,
Yeah, he'll settle for
he's
jump shots,
very,
take bad post shots. Yeah,
very modern day big. I will say that. He is
yeah.
probably the definition of a modern day big. Someone who, like you said, settles for a lot of jumpers, will stretch the floor. Three ball is not bad, definitely, but it's not what I think it's marketed to be. I think people
Mm.
kind of overrate that shot a little bit. I think it's very shaky at
It's hit or
times.
miss for sure.
Definitely not a bad thing coming from your center, but definitely something that maybe they'll look forward to in the next few years. I mean, like you said, yeah, I agree. I think they do need a second option that can create in the playoffs. I think they got embarrassed by LA with weird circumstances with John. I know he sprained the wrist in the first game.
Something like that. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then they I don't know, they kind of did it to themselves. I mean, moving off of Brooks, who's had a really very good start for
the
him.
Rockets. Yeah,
For his standards, offensively, he's been magnificent. But
yeah,
I mean, aside from that, they're a weird team. I know they just signed Bismack Biyombo. Don't know how much that means for a team like
yeah.
that.
Because Steven Adams is not coming back this season,
Yeah, that
unfortunately.
which is a ginormous loss for them.
Yeah.
That sucks. I mean, I think he was one of their biggest impactful players on that team last year.
Oh,
And when
just
he
for the
went out,
chemistry. Yeah,
it showed. It showed. I think
yeah.
went out and all this stuff started happening. I mean, I'll say it like that. I think Steven Adams was a big help for that team, and it sucks to see him out again. So, but yeah, the Portland, man. I mean, they're a team that is 3-3 after this game. They're not a bad team at all. I mean, obviously Robert Williams out. That's tough. I mean,
Yeah, big time.
big, huge loss. They lost right there. But I mean, aside from that, they have a really interesting roster. Brogdon raising that trade value
Yeah.
definitely will not be here after the deadline. I definitely not. But I mean, obviously you have Scoot, who I mean he's been a little questionable, but then again, rookie. He's a rookie. His efficiency is going to be questionable. He's
And he also
adjusting.
just has a weird fit on that roster. It's just
Exactly.
not
It's a weird roster. I mean,
yeah.
it's not the most. I don't know. I
He's
wouldn't
not
say
coming onto a roster where it's like I'm
yeah.
getting 25 shots a night because
No.
nobody else is like,
Yeah, because I mean you
okay,
have to
Jeremy Grant's
make
technically the
this
guy
thing.
here. You just
Yeah.
brought in DeAndre Ayton. You have
Yeah.
Malcolm Brogdon. It's like Scoot Henderson's kind of in a weird spot where,
Yes.
again, Portland is trying to. It's. I can't believe they're actually doing this right now. It's like Portland's trying to kind of contend
Yeah, a
with
little
a
bit.
team
Yeah, they're trying to make a
after move.
playoffs.
It's like,
Yeah.
dude, just
If
give it up.
you
Why?
yeah,
Like,
you
move
gotta
Ayton. Just move him. Move
yeah.
Jeremy. Just move Brogdon. Just
Yeah.
let
I,
Scoot take 2 or 3 years to become the guy you drafted him to be, and then
yeah.
surround him. But
Yeah,
right
exactly.
now, just putting him next to dudes who are trying to get their own,
Yeah,
it's just
exactly. I
not
mean,
helping him.
Brogdon and Ayton, man, they're raising their trade values pretty high. I think Jeremy Grant might be in a bad situation because of that contract. That contract's
What
atrocious.
is it? It's 5 years, like 100 or 200 million.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
think so.
it's
I think it's
horrid.
definitely 40 million a year for the
Yeah,
AV for sure. But no, like you said, they're in a weird spot. This is a really weird roster. They obviously just moved on from their franchise superstar. I
yep.
mean, it's a weird spot. But yeah, like you said, they definitely need to get out of his way, give him the ball, move on from Brogdon. I mean, Shaden Sharp's been doing very well too. Bright spot. Very, very.
Sharp is the second guy. I don't think Anthony's the dude either. Like I
No,
like Anthony,
I
but
do too.
you just
I don't think
drafted
he's fixed.
Scoot. You
Yeah,
like
exactly.
if you want to keep Shaden, I mean, the only issue with Anthony for me is that it's like number one, he's not a very good defender, and number two, how like how are you going to tell him to be a true like be the spot up,
Yeah,
be the
exactly.
guy to play off ball? I don't
Yeah,
think it's going to sit well with him. When Dame was out, we really saw Anthony Simons take a leap as a primary guy.
yeah,
So I think he'll have value there. But no, I think Portland is kind of shooting themselves in the foot a little bit. Like, cool, you're not 0-6 like Memphis, but
yeah,
like, what are you playing for? You're
exactly.
not you're not gonna win. This team is not going anywhere. Like in any 7 game series against the Warriors, lose, Nuggets, lose, Lakers, lose,
Yeah.
Thunder. Look, I don't think they're winning any of this shit. So it's like you could sit here and twiddle your thumbs and give these dudes, like look cool at the Moda Center, or you can continue building assets.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but that was kind of the teams that played. What were your overall thoughts here of the tournament itself? How do you feel it's looking at the moment? We don't have to look. Everybody was talking about the court graphics. Like, who fuck cares
Yeah.
about that? But
Yeah.
what
Yeah. They're
like,
definitely
yeah,
a bit
thoughts about the
flashy.
tournament? Yeah,
Yeah, no, definitely, man. I think it was very interesting and intriguing and a way to pull in new fans. And I mean, obviously, I believe the issue right now is they're trying to find a way to reach younger viewers because of cable and such, and not
yeah.
people use cable. So I think any way to try to promote the league is big. And I think something like this, it's fun. It's something new and it's fun. I don't necessarily know the prize of it yet, I guess. It's just more money for the player, right?
Yeah, it's not like Halliburton said it should be like a playoff thing, which I agree with. It should be like
Yeah,
a,
I think you're playing for more. Definitely.
yeah, right
With
now it
the,
just feels like let's test the waters with this and see if anything happens.
yeah,
Otherwise, it's just like, who cares? But no, the competition seemed to be there.
yeah,
Like it didn't feel like, like everyone was just kind of like shrugging this thing off,
yeah,
like whatever,
whatever
who
type
cares?
deal. Yeah,
Everyone was playing their asses off, and that's what you want to do. That's the precedent you want to
yeah,
sit or set, because now you go into the next game. Everyone's like, oh, they played pretty hard the first time. Like, we kind of got to step it up here.
yeah,
So I think that's a good thing. My only concern, I guess, is like you got all these guys playing super hardcore at the
yeah.
beginning of the season. What is
Early.
health going to look like? What is,
Exactly.
come playoff time, are we going to see a ton of burnout, or, but other than that, man, I agree. The competition's there and it's fun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
something new. I mean, it's something that maybe can promote the league a bit more. Why not? So, I mean, I get it. But no, definitely something that's gonna be maybe here to stick. We'll see. It's very interesting. Yeah, that's not too much else. I mean, it restarts when does it go again?
um, groups, or hold up, in season tournament NBA. The next games are November 10th.
Yeah, okay, yeah,
So
so
that's
in a few
in
days.
4 days.
Yeah, in
So
a few days here, but yeah, I
those
mean,
games are going to be Sixers, Pistons, Hornets, Wizards, Nets, Celtics, Pelicans, Rockets, Wolves, Spurs, Jazz, Grizzlies, Clippers, Mavs, Thunder, Kings, and then Lakers, Suns.
yeah,
So
okay,
that's going to be
interesting.
the next slate here. But yeah, there are a few fun games there. Wolves versus Spurs will be interesting. That's a big test for Wemby.
Yeah.
Um, Wizards, Hornets, it's just prison versus vibes. Um,
Lakers, Suns,
that'll
injuries.
be fun. Yeah,
Oh, well, it depends. It depends on AD because I know he might be.
he tweaked something, but didn't he come back in the game? I thought I saw.
He did. I didn't see. I didn't know.
It said something like, maybe I'm wrong. I thought the what do you call it? The ticker said he came back in, or they'll evaluate to see if he comes back in, but it didn't look like
Oh, nothing
out
crazy.
for extended period. Yeah,
Oh, okay. Okay, fair enough.
yeah. Jazz Grizzlies could be fun. I like that Jazz team, man. And I'm super high on Laurie Markkinen.
Yeah.
I fucking love what the Warriors would, hey, I'll take Larry. 6'10", come on, 7-footer. Dude,
Yeah.
fucking shoot
I,
25 points a game. Bring it. You
I
know what
wouldn't
I'm
be opposed.
saying?
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm with you on that one. But no, yeah, there's definitely a lot of interesting. I think the matchmaking's been really well though. I think they did very well in the
100%.
matchmaking. I think the matchmaking
Yeah.
was the biggest positive of the whole thing is they found teams that are equal in talent. Maybe aside from the Nuggets Mavericks game, I mean, every other game seemed pretty neck and neck, like you said. I
Yeah.
mean, I think matchmaking might have did very well. We'll see. But maybe the Pistons Sixer game might
Yeah, I was gonna say
on
that
my
looks
head.
like a blowout.
Yeah, that might be something
Um,
that maybe proves us wrong on that front. But no, aside from that, yeah, definitely very solid matchmaking. It looked constructed very well, and it's a success, I would say, as of right now. But we'll see on November 10th.
yeah, 100%. And but yeah, that's pretty much gonna do it. We've covered quite a bit of the Warriors and Thunder. Talked about Gui Santos briefly. in-season tournament stuff, and that's pretty much it. Nothing much else going on around the league at the moment. Everything's pretty chill. So, um, yeah, if anything happens, which I don't really expect, we'll just be back again some point in the next week, talking more about the Warriors and Thunder, potential stuff going on, and more in-season tournament coverage. So, yeah, man, thank you for showing up again. Doing a lot. So, uh, getting these in, it's fun to do. And
Mhm.
if you guys like the content, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And of course, in the moment hoops will also be in the description. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe over there. And they're talking about basketball stuff just as I. So yeah, man. Have a good rest of your week, and we'll be back with more Warriors post game recap stuff. Um, they play again on Wednesday in Denver. So we'll be back with that video either that night or the day after. So, yeah, that's going to do it. Have a good rest of your night and peace.